The life and sad ending of McLean Stevenson. Edgar McLean Stevenson, Jr. was born November 14, 1927, in Normal, Illinois. He was the great-grandson of William Stevenson, brother of U.S. Vice President Adlai E. Stevenson, making him a second cousin once removed of two-time presidential nominee Adlai E. Stevenson II. He was also the brother of an actress named Anne Whitney. His father, Edgar, was a cardiologist. They shared a middle name, McLean, which came from Edgar Sr.'s mother, Lottie McLean. Stevenson attended Lake Forest Academy and later joined the United States Navy. After his service, he attended Northwestern University, where he was Phi Gamma Delta fraternity brother and graduated with a bachelor's degree in theater arts. Afterward, he worked at a radio station, played a clown on a live TV show in Dallas, became an assistant athletic director at Northwestern, and sold medical supplies and insurance. He also worked as a press secretary for his cousin in the presidential elections of 1952 and 1956. He formed the Young Democrats for Stevenson. In 1961, Stevenson's cousin invited him to social functions where he met a few business luminaries. He followed his cousin's advice to look for a show business career. He auditioned and won a scholarship to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. He made his professional career debut in The Music Man in 1962 and appeared regularly in Warsaw, Indiana in summer stock productions. Before becoming a star, Stevenson appeared as a contestant on the Password television game show in New York City, winning 5 pieces of luggage. After this, he appeared in New York City on stage and in television commercials. He also performed on Broadway and began to establish himself as a comedy writer, writing for the seminal That Was the Week That Was, in which Alan Alda appeared, and the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, performing occasionally on both shows. He was also a regular on 1970, the Tim Conway Comedy Hour variety show on CBS. During the late 1960s and early 70s, he also appeared in TV commercials for products such as Kellogg's, Libby's Fruit Cocktail, Dolly Madison, and Winston cigarettes. After guest starring in That Girl with Marlo Thomas, he was cast in The Doris Day Show in 1969, playing magazine editor boss Michael Nicholson until 1971. Originally, he auditioned for the role of Hawkeye Pierce in MASH, but was persuaded to play Lieutenant Colonel Harry Blake instead. This role shot him to stardom. He wrote the episode of The Trial of Henry Blake and provided the story for another, The Army-Navy Game, which earned him an Emmy nomination. Stevenson found that his greatest success in MASH. The series quickly became one of the most popular situation comedies of its time and was eventually recognized as one of the top sitcoms in television history. Despite the show's success, Stevenson began to resent, as did Wayne Rogers, playing a supporting role to the wisecracking Hawkeye, played by Alan Alda, and asked to be released from his contract during the show's 3rd season. The show's writers reluctantly penned him an exit in the final episode of the 1974-75 season entitled Abyssinia, Henry, in which Lieutenant Colonel Blake was discharged, only to board a plane that was shot down over the Sea of Japan, killing everyone on board, a development added after scripts were distributed to the show's actors would display genuine emotions. In an interview, MASH actor Loretta Swit commented that Stevenson wanted to be the star and felt oppressed as one of an ensemble of 8. She said that before Stevenson left the series, he told her, "I know I will not be in anything as good as this show, but I have to leave and be number 1. Although he had played ensemble parts for several years, he has stated that the primary reasons for his departure were systemic problems with 20th Century Fox, especially disregard for simple comforts for cast and crew on location, and the more lucrative opportunities presented to him at the time. Then, Stevenson appeared as a guest panelist for several weeks on Match Game in 1973. And again in 1978 on the daytime and nighttime weekly syndicated version. In 1981, he became a regular panelist on the daily syndicated version of Match Game, staying with the show until its cancellation a year later. He would make occasional appearances on the subsequent Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour in 1983 and 1984. After his departure from MASH, Stevenson's acting career faltered. While occasionally filling in as the guest host of The Tonight Show, Stevenson's first attempt at his own show was an NBC variety show special named The McLean Stevenson Show on November 20th, 1975. The show was 41st in the ratings that week and was scuttled. He then starred in a series of sitcoms, The McLean Stevenson Show, 1976 through 77, In the Beginning, 1978, Hello, Larry, 1979 through 80, and Condo, 1983. All 4 sitcoms were dismissed by audiences and lambasted by critics, and all aired while MASH was still in production. Only Hello, Larry lasted 2 seasons. All others were canceled in their first. Stevenson guest starred as Stan Zbornak's brother Ted in the hit sitcom The Golden Girls in 1987, in addition to guest starring in shows such as Square One TV, The Love Boat, Different Strokes, and Hollywood Squares. He filled in for Johnny Carson as guest host of The Tonight Show 58 times, and as a guest on the program in 1982, he brought his daughter Lindsay onto the set when she was just 16 weeks old. During the 1988-89 television season, he returned to a supporting TV role in an ensemble, playing Max Kellerman on the short-lived CBS series adaptation of Dirty Dancing. Stevenson's career decline resulted in his becoming a target for industry jokes, Stevenson conceding that leaving MASH was the biggest mistake of his career. I made the mistake of believing that people were enamored of McLean Stevenson when the person they were enamored of was Henry Blake, said Stevenson. Stevenson's screen credits include the Disney movie The Cat from Outer Space as a friend of Dr. Frank Wilson, played by Ken Berry, along with his MASH replacement, Harry Morgan. He was also a co-host of the syndicated daytime talk show America, which lasted 16 weeks between September 16, 1985 and January 3, 1986. In his personal life, Stephen was thrice married. His first marriage was to Polly Ann Gordon, and it lasted from 1957 to 1960. He later married Louise Herbert in May of 1969. However, their marriage also failed, and the couple divorced in 1971. The couple had a son, Jeff McGregor. In December 1980, he married Jenny Fosdick, and they remained together until his death. The couple has a daughter, Lindsay Stevenson. Sadly, Stevenson was recovering from bladder cancer surgery at the Encino Tarzana Regional Medical Center on February 15, 1996. When he suffered a sudden fatal heart attack. He was 68 years old. He is interred in Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills Cemetery in Los Angeles.